Hello, and welcome to another episode of Our Own Devices. We have another guest with us, as always, and this time we're going to talk about a topic that's gaining a lot of attention, especially since a lot of people have been stuck at home because of the pandemic. Talking to us about the growth of mobile gaming in India and the landscape overall is Mr. Sachin Kalantri of Qualcomm. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here. It's
Sir,
my pleasure to be here.
so if I can start by asking you, all this buzz around mobile gaming, is this actually real? Or like, when you see the millions of devices that are being sold across India every year, is this a real factor that people are now looking at while buying phones? And I'm saying this across price points, not cheap, not flagship, but across price points. Is gaming capability of a phone really something people are bothered about?
Absolutely. First of all, it's a great question when you say if the gaming take up is real or not. I think if you look at the last almost 3 4 years, gaming has been picking up globally. Globally, it has been picking up for last maybe 6 7 years. In India itself, it is picking up. It has picked up in last 3 4 years, and during the pandemic, it has gone through multifold. Right. What it has done is very transformative in the way we connect with our friends and families, etc. And when you look at our larger what you call connections, you have a mix of people who are at different age groups, different genders, different income groups, etc., etc. And you will be surprised to know that almost people in every group is actually into gaming, some form of gaming or the other gaming, right? It doesn't have to be very competitive gaming. And as a result, you can see some of those numbers which are given by many analyst firms, etc. Basically, we are more than 300 million gaming market, and I'm sure that number has grown uh, since this number is from last year. So does it mean all of them are professional gamers? No. The main thing is all these people are coming together to socialize, to connect with each other, to entertain, etc., right? Themselves, to internet their friends and families, either ways. And that has actually given a new meaning to gaming in India. It is a social tool, it's an entertainment tool, and it started as that, and now it is also going towards say career option. It is going towards being more competitive, right? And it is not just limited to the elites. It is across all tiers, essentially. India is primarily a PC market. Sorry, mobile first market. It's not a PC market.
Hmm.
So you will not see a lot of PC gamers in India. There is a population of PC gamers as well, but when you look at the mobile gamers, it far outweighs the number of non mobile gamers. Essentially, console, PCs, etc. All those come into non mobile category today. And I think in terms of variety of games also, it's amazing. uh, Although battle royale continues to be the top pick of the game in terms of what people play, but there are games which are right from say ludo and poker and number of skill based games, quizzes, etc. A lot of those games are very popular. People, in fact, I mean, just look at a simple game of wordle. It has become such a huge craze
Dominant, yes.
overnight, and a lot of people in India are following it, basically, right? So because it actually stimulates your intellectual capability, it entertains you, it makes you think, it also helps you improve your skills. There are a lot of things going out of this gaming opportunity right now. When it comes to career itself, if you had asked me 3 years ago about gaming, or 4 years ago gaming as a career, I would have to think maybe for 5 10 minutes and talk about what different options I may have. Today, there are so many things, whether it is in the esports category, in game development publishing category, even as a caster, event management, and a lot of other things basically. So I think it has evolved significantly, right from just being a entertainment means to coming all the way to it being a career option. And I tend to think it's going to grow only from here. There is no let up in there. And certainly mobiles have played a very important role in this, mainly because it has made games accessible to users. Now a number of things have come together. First of all, good phones uh, with good gaming applications which are suited for those phones, and availability of affordable broadband. All these actually have brought the ecosystem together. Publishers have also focused here, operators have focused here to make it more meaningful and viable for the ecosystem to thrive, in my view. A lot of esports competitions are also happening globally as well as in India. And For example, we have our own competition, esports event called Conquest, which also allows people to compete, showcase their skills, etc., while uh, also standing a chance to win some handsome prize money to fund their education and other needs, essentially.
Sir, an interesting point in this report on mobile gaming in India, which Qualcomm has brought out, is that at least one in three people are upgrading because of gaming. But does that also mean that the ASP or the average selling price of device itself is going up? And across India, this is a phenomenon now. Even if you go to rural India, people are into gaming, and you would usually associate maybe more affordable devices when you go to the rural markets. But does this phenomenon mean that even in those markets, people are almost pushing the envelope when it comes to upgrade? Are they going for better devices, with better processors, better capabilities? That would automatically mean that you're also spending more.
Correct. So first of all, I think if you look at the overall gaming spend that people are doing, right, that is anyway increasing. Various researchers have shown that. In our research, what we did as part of our conquest, uh, there we saw that about 40% of the people surveyed believe that newer smartphones are better. And there is a reason. Obviously, they do provide better gaming experience. So it comes out consistently with how the evolution of smartphones is happening versus how the games are evolving, versus what how the expectations are also evolving, right? And one third of the surveyed people are ready to upgrade their phones because they believe newer phones, they do offer better user experience, better what you call features. And 40% of them, they want to upgrade just because of a better GPU, basically better graphics. Because when you look at overall gaming, GPU is absolutely very critical. Obviously, the entire hardware matters, because gaming is providing you a very wholesome experience, be it visual experience, be it listening experience, be it how you interact with the game itself, and all the things associated with it. So I'm not surprised that people are trying to go to the higher tier phones. That is probably a cause of people lopping up phones in, say, more than 15,000 rupees price point in India. And Another factor could be, obviously the ASPs have gone up slightly even for like to like phones because of the components, etc., shortages here and there. But I do agree that people have been looking for better and more powerful phones
And
for gaming.
also, sir, this drive towards gaming, is it also pushing companies like Qualcomm to innovate differently? Earlier gaming would have been considered as a niche segment. Even so you would look at maybe a certain number of people using the device to game, and yeah, but maybe that's not a mass use case. But now, as it is becoming more and more popular, is this pushing innovation in whatever you do with a smartphone, right? And as you rightly said, it could be with audio, it could be with the screen capability. You're seeing so many of the phones now pushing 120 hertz refresh rate. And you would also need to keep the thermal footprint of the devices low, because you don't want phones to heat up because people are overclocking while gaming. So overall, is it pushing companies like Qualcomm to think about across the board innovation so that the experience is much better?
Yeah, so we've been continuously looking at this. If you look at our first GPU, it came almost more than a decade ago, right?
Yeah.
Since then, we have been investing in all the gaming technologies, associated enhancements on not just the platform. I'll talk about the platform as well in terms of how we look at it, but even the larger ecosystem. Because when you look at the gaming experience, it comes from the hardware as well as the software, plus potentially some of the peripherals that you use with it. For example, if you're using a Bluetooth headset, right? That could be a different experience, or if you're using a touch controller, could be a different experience, right? So how do we give that holistic experience? That has been our focus all along, and we've been investing in that, creating that in end-to-end ecosystem. For example, we work very closely with, say, gaming engines like Unreal, Unity, etc., to make sure that their engines are optimized for the platforms we develop, right? First of all, whatever hardware features we develop, they get adopted by them. Their engines are tuned to the hardware platform. Then the libraries that are used to develop games are also optimized on the platform. So we work very closely with game developers to make sure that we have tools and libraries, etc., basically to do many things differently, by right, be it audio, be it even XR, VR, AI is another example. We provide SDKs, etc., for all those, so that it becomes easier for game developers to take those assets and create differentiated experiences. The other thing is, when you look at the platform, hardware platform itself, we continue to push the envelope, both in terms of how do we provide longer and sustained gameplay, but also experiences in terms of quick touch responses, even better what you call visuals. For example, if you look at what we support, is 10-bit true HDR, which is almost like desktop, right? Type of gaming. We have now come up with new things like updatable GPU drivers. So until 2 years ago, probably you had to upgrade an OS to get new GPU drivers, etc. Now you can just update the GPU driver without having to upgrade the OS. So all those things we are bringing, variable rate shaders, etc. So what happens is, when you have hardware optimizations and features working in unison with the games and the engines, etc., which drive those games, it becomes a complete end-to-end ecosystem. We continue to look ahead and see what kind of features we want to deliver, what kind of experiences we want to deliver, and we bring those into our platforms. For example, now we have just announced last year SDKs for developing XR based gaming, right? We also announced a development platform, which is a Razer device where people can go and do their complete handheld gaming development, basically, right? So all those things, they take time, they take a lot of investment, and they also take a lot of careful planning of features, etc. Because whatever we start doing today in terms of planning
Yeah.
has an impact 2 years from now, probably, right? Because it takes time for us to plan, develop SoCs, bring those to, say, OEMs then work on those and create beautiful devices out of this, and by the time they get in the hands of the people, uh, it's about that time. So we have to think ahead at least that much time, and plan for something which is really forward looking and differentiated for users.
You also mentioned how there are a lot of things coming into place now. You have affordable data rates, very good devices, overall
Yes,
experience is going up. So in this scheme of things, how important is 5G, especially from the Indian market perspective? And do you think once
it's a
5G
very good
also comes
question.
in, is it going to have a hockey stick kind of growth again?
So, hockey stick is slightly difficult now, mainly because we already are
Grown so
looking
much.
at maybe 400 k gamers, right? Now, from here, getting a hockey stick is like, where do we go? We have barely 1.3 or 1.4 billion population, right?
Yes.
But obviously, the mass is going to continue to increase. The whole point of 5G in terms of gaming is actually doing a further transformation of gaming, and I'll explain you in few ways. One thing is, obviously, once you have 5G, you get better speeds, better lower latencies, etc., right, which are very important for gaming. So it is going to enhance your uh, user experience that way, in that sense. The other thing is, it will also allow people to do a lot of cloud gaming. So cloud gaming will enable uh, gaming even on, say, lower end devices, essentially, right? You have game servers which are deployed at the cloud edge, which are most probably closer to your base stations, etc., basically to reduce the latency. And when you are trying to do gaming on your handheld in a cloud gaming sense, the game is actually running on the server, and what you are getting rendered is an image, but the response time and the image, etc., they have to be so quick that you feel as if the game is running on your platform, essentially, right? So 5G becomes very, very relevant there, because it allows that low latency communication, high speed communication, essentially. The other thing which could happen with 5G, again, you may say, it's slightly early. I agree, it is slightly early. We don't even have 5G on the ground, but things move very quickly, actually. With 5G, what could happen is, at the cloud edge, there could be also AI based servers deployed, which can help improve further quality of gaming for individual user. It can have the capability to customize those gaming experiences for individual users. So we haven't seen that transformation yet with 5G, because 5G is still coming to India. Elsewhere, cloud gaming has started. We have seen people getting into it, and I'm sure it'll come to India, and we will see uh, a whole new transformation of the gaming with cloud gaming.
So the last question I had is a little bit more specific to us, to what Qualcomm Snapdragon has been doing in this space, right? Like, and given the option
Sure.
of picking up devices, so how aware do you think the Indian market is on where the processor fits in the entire ecosystem of gaming, right? So is that a factor that people are now looking at? Okay, I'm buying a phone, but I need it with at least this processor because my gaming experience has to be great.
Yes. So I think there used to be a point of time where people were sort of not so much aware,
Mhm.
right? But over the period of time, through lot of communication coming from the gaming community, gaming influencers, casters, and through word of mouth by this a set of players, basically, right? Now when I say uh, about 300 to 400,000 million users, gamers, they have these are also the influencers, essentially, or they are the ones who also have their views. They communicate their views to their peers, to their families, and they have gone through a journey of experiencing what a good gaming platform means, right? What is the importance of a GPU? What is the importance of features such as, for example, low latency on Wi-Fi connection,
Yeah.
right? What is the importance of hearing that audio very clearly? How and make it immersive. So those experiences are told by these people who are sort of insiders for the entire community, right? For example, a family within a family, if son is playing games, he is probably the most aware of what kind of device needs to be there, what features, etc., etc., right? And then he is going to influence his dad, even grandparents, other siblings, etc., right? So it is happening, it has happened already in my view. I see it in my family, and I'm sure you see it around as well. So that education, I think, is already there. Of course, there is always we have to look at the affordability also. Everyone wants a Ferrari, but very few people probably can afford. We try to solve those problems by bringing in, say, features from the top tier, the premium tier, to lower tiers, in such a way that appropriate to that tier you provide good gaming experiences, essentially. So that's how we do it. And there are certain features we want to make sure those become hygiene. For example, network latency manager, etc. These are good features which will impact positively impact your gaming experience in all conditions, basically.
So you were listening to Mr. Sachin Kalantri, who's Senior Director of Product Marketing at Qualcomm India, and a very precise view of how gaming or mobile gaming is developing in the Indian market. Sir, thanks for being on the show and thanks for your very insightful session.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You were listening to Our Own Devices with Nandagopal Rajan, and we'll be back again next week with another guest. Till then, we are available everywhere you listen to your podcast.